Hey everyone, today is April 13th, 2023. The water levels are a bit high today, not anywhere near flooding. One time I saw this river so high it was about to go over this road. We're here today at the lake intake structure. Yes, it has a big old blockage on it that we're gonna get out of here today. I was here back in the wintertime. There was 2 feet of ice in the way of the blockage. I have a failed attempt video I'll link in the description if you're interested. I was trying to chop away at the ice with an axe. It was hopeless. It was down 2 feet thick ice over this river. It was really cold then. But now it's completely thawed. It's 82 degrees right now. It's very warm for this time of year. But next week will be back down seasonable, around 50 degrees or so. So this is plugged, meaning not a lot of fresh water is going into the man-made lake. And then we'll walk down to the lake drain, which eventually feeds right back to this river. So it comes in here. It follows down this channel right here, down a few hundred feet into the lake. Other end of the lake has a drain going right back. You see? Not much flow. That thing should be blasting with the water in the actual river flowing so well. So we're gonna set up camera number 2, and I'm already wet today from unclogging a bunch of other things. Not even gonna get the big high boots on. The water will be a bit cold, but because it's so warm, it's refreshing. I'm only gonna be down there a few minutes. Should be able to get the blockage out without a problem, and we'll be good. Don't need the big high boots, just gonna get right down into the water as is. All right, everyone, camera number 2 is rolling. I'm just gonna get right down into the water. It'll actually be refreshing on a day like this. We'll get it blasting pretty fast. Tick season is right around the corner. It's already here, actually, if you're in the right area. So gotta check yourself for ticks this time of year. They're gonna be active, at least until the birds and turkeys get them. If you live in an area with turkeys, be thankful you have them. My yard one year, dozens would be on your sock just walking around, and turkeys walked through one day, never saw one again all year. Water is actually not that cold because the sunshine's hitting it. My last blockage I did today was actually spring water. Look at this, I'm up to my waist in the water. But it's actually refreshing. All right, here we are. Let's loosen up this blockage. There's a lot of pressure against it, so I don't want to get close to it. This could be a dangerous one. Oh, it's letting loose. I feel it. It is letting loose. There's going to be a big whirlpool, I bet. Now, this is a potentially dangerous culvert. You could get sucked against that with dangerous force. So I'm staying back for the time being. Already got a whirlpool starting. Water is slightly over my waist. This water's already getting cold, actually. I'm slightly over my waist. My legs are already starting to get cold. But it's refreshing, and I'm not going to be in here more than 5 minutes. Wow, we're going good. Oh, there's still a good amount on there. A lot of pressure here. I think there's a big log or something in there trying to pull it out, but a lot of pressure's holding it against the structure. Wow, this is getting cold very quickly. I think we just broke part of it. Wow, there's a good amount of debris in front of it. Look at that. This is actually a giant blockage, way bigger than I thought. This is the worst I've ever seen. We're gonna size it at log inside the pipe. Don't come back in here. Was that it? Was that the end? Nope. A bunch of current just suddenly started. Wow. Is that it? Nope. Still something there. Yeah, I'm not getting that close to the hole. Definitely not. Oh, I got more. More just got loosened up. Oh, here's a big stick. Oh, I'm pulling out a big mass. Look at that guy. Look at the size of this stick. That's a weird shape. Wow! It's completely clear. Wow! If I was to just fall over, that would suck me right on in. Want to stay away from that. That's completely open now. Wow. That was refreshing. I'm no longer overheating from it being and the 80's out. Look at that thing go, just like I knew. Big old slurpy whirlpool. I can't wait to see what the other side looks like. Wow. Now we gotta go see if there's a blockage on the drain. There usually isn't. People who live around there do it usually very quickly. My legs are actually numb from this. I'm wet up to my chest right now from that. My legs are numb. Surprisingly, not my feet at all. I guess my shoes were enough insulation. Whoa, look at the other side compared to before. Here's what it looked like before. Down a few hundred feet into the lake. Other end of the lake has a drain going right back. You see? Not much flow. And here's what it looks like after. Definitely a lot more debris. Now I wonder if beavers contributed that at all. If they did, they're not very smart. This water is going down to their beaver pond, and they literally shut it off if they did do it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that was just storm debris. Probably all of it. I'm just saying that because there's beavers in that pond, and last year we took out multiple dams they built in this drainage canal. All right, now we're gonna walk down this maintenance road. It's about a 20-minute walk to get to the drain. There is so much current going in there. That is sucking harder than I've ever seen it before. I was here once when this was all underwater. That's why this is all destroyed. See the rebar bent over? When this thing floods really deep, especially right after being frozen, icebergs heavier than cars smash into this stuff. And that is what destroys it ultimately. One time I was here, it was right up to the top of this road, and there was evidence it was going over into that canal. So I imagine the lake drain was having a lot of trouble that day. It definitely wasn't handling it. It was probably going over the dam. There's like a little sandy spillway area. You hear there's a lot of Canadian geese. Just 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, the entire lake was frozen, safe enough to walk across. It sure melted fast. Still walking down their little road to get to the dam. You can still see some ice right here on the edge. Maybe a more shady area. Big old tree right here that was cut down by the beavers. Lots of geese honking. You see right in there? Big old tree was done by the beavers. We are no longer on the service road. This trail's faster to get down there. You see this trail right here leading into the water? Beaver trail. Look, every tree here you can tell was cut down to a stub and are slowly growing back from the base. This trail goes right to the river where the intake structure is. And look at all the little trees cut down by beavers. Look at that, even a big old tree right there was cut down by beavers. There's evidence of beavers everywhere. We're probably gonna pass by a dozen of these beaver trails back and forth to the river. Look at this, right up here is another one. I actually have a lot in my hands right now. Look at this, another beaver trail, because I'm bringing camera number 2. I've never done the 2-camera thing at the lake drain. Usually because I've never found a severe blockage on it, but I'm sure it happens sometimes. What do you guys think? I've never thought about it like this before. Look how lumpy the ground is right here. Also, look what I'm standing on top of, this big hump. This isn't natural. You think this is all the overburden when they dug the lake? Because this lake is completely man-made. They dug it out with excavators. And that's why they have it being fed by the river and draining back. It's not natural. I'm thinking all these random lumps and piles are overburdened when they were digging it out so they wouldn't have to truck it away. That bridge is eventually going to break. That was sagging severely. So here we are. You see the maintenance road wraps around. There it is coming in. So this basically whole thing is a dam. But here's where the drain is, and I can see there is not a significant blockage. And see that tiny little island? That may have started its life as either a place to tie buoys onto. You ever see buoys before you get to a dam? Debris gets stuck against that instead of it clogging up the structure. And then people can go unclog the buoys or even roll them in with all the debris. So basically, this is the spillway right here. I don't know if it's meant to be or the whole hill just eroded at one point, but this is where the water spills if this thing becomes clogged. See, this is why I never bring camera number 2. It's never been necessary before. You see? And I bet this is a lot warmer. Yeah, this water's a bit warmer. We are increasing flow a little bit, but not that much. And this is going to start flowing more because, remember, we just sent a whole bunch of water in here, but it'll take hours to see a difference. A lot of this is beaver debris, but I don't think they put it here. I think it just floated here. I've never actually seen beavers messing with this structure. And I think it's just because the pond is so big. Just a little bit of debris getting stuck on that narrow part. Now this thing, I fear in the future is going to end up like the Palmer, Massachusetts lake drain. The culvert at the bottom of the structure going in the ground is severely rotten and could fail at some point. I've showed that thing in the past and I'm going to show you again. One time this river was so high, this was all underwater. This culvert was far underwater. Now keep in mind, I've only been coming to this place less than 2 years, maintaining it, and when I first started, that was all intact. And that looked like that there. It's been deteriorating. But when there was barely any flow last summer, I took a good look in there. It's still pretty structural in there, but I can't see all the way through, obviously. I'm judging by the first couple feet in, it's become structural. This is from the freeze and thaw cycles, battering it over the winter. The end is all destroyed. But I certainly do think it should be replaced because just look at this evidence. See how the ground is? See how it's slowly slipping? As this thing deteriorates further into the ground, the earth keeps slipping more and more, and that's making this dam weaker and weaker. And by the evidence here, I think this used to be around here at some point, and that pipe probably went out a couple more feet at least. But I just wanted to check in on this place. This is the first unclogging we've done here this year. I was here about a month ago. If you want to look at the video in the description, when everything was frozen solid. I don't know. Yeah, I happen to believe that was actually a midwinter thaw. The river was frozen solid, but it was also a lot of slush from it partially melting. Nice. We're in good shape. Sun's about to go down soon. Had to check this place out while I was in the area. And if you saw my last 2 videos, we had a lot of unclogging today. I had to spread it out in a few videos or it would have been too long of a video, I think, in my opinion. But we had a good day, and this walk down here, I probably wasted at least a half an hour, and I've been drip drying. I'm no longer cold at all, just damp. Drying off a bit, don't have to get back in the vehicle soaking wet, which is a good thing. But I get wet all the time. I always keep a beach towel on my seat. Keeps the seat from wearing out. My seats still look perfect, and that's because I always have covered them up with a towel, and the towel's there if I go swimming. If I need to take a bath in a river when I'm out a long time, it's there. Keeps the seat from getting dirty. Wet, works out nice. Very peaceful out today. Look at this. Way up here on the embankment, we had a beaver. They're becoming active again with the warm weather. And we'll come check this out sometime in the summer when all the leaves have trees. That's my dyslexia. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I don't even catch myself. Even in editing, I don't catch myself and correct it on the screen. Sometimes I don't even notice I do that stuff until it's pointed out by someone in the comments. But we probably won't be back here again until the leaves, or I almost did it again. We probably won't be back here until all the trees have leaves. This is unusual weather to be this warm in the beginning of April. This area historically can snow through the month of May. Growing season doesn't start until June 1st. But what that basically means is there could still be a frost at night. And you want to cover up your plants at night. I usually start growing my gardens in the house like a month, the seedlings, before the growing season starts. I usually plant them in the yard 2 weeks before the growing season, and typically there's no more deep freezes, just the occasional frost. Go outside with bed sheets, put them over all the plants. Works out nice, get a good head start when you don't have a greenhouse. So this area, I can tell you, it's almost certain it's going to have more frost because the growing season doesn't start for another 6 weeks or so. It'll probably snow again, but it won't stick around long. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Here we are at the main parking area for the lake. This was a beaver dam. I didn't touch it. That failed on its own during a storm back in the fall, and then it immediately froze over. Beavers never had a chance to fix it, and they probably won't because of this giant surge of water. That's what it was. Back in the fall, when the water was high, I opened that, and my blast is actually what made the beaver dam fail in that spot. Brand new bridge here. Yep, they never built back. There was a beaver dam right there last year, and there was one way up there that we did last year. None of them have been built back. Not at all. Good to see. But I'm sure they will by the end of the summer. And this water right here, if it wasn't for this partial beaver dam still standing, which is not going to fail. See, it's made out of a lot of rocks, the beaver dam. They used a lot of rocks in that dam. You know why they did it? When the Parks Department built this bridge, they added a whole bunch of rock here as a foundation. Beavers have been stealing those rocks and helping strengthen their dam. All right, everyone, I have to show you this guy's fence. I've never seen this done before, and it looks so cool. Look what the guy did, because he wanted to put the fence up with the rocks still there to protect the house around the corner. That is so funny. It looks like the rocks have shifted and moved from the multiple freeze and thaw cycles over the years, but I just had to show you that. That was really cool and creative. The rocks are there because imagine this road in the winter, all icy and slippery. Someone could slide right into that house. Or on a normal day, someone not paying attention or drunk goes right through the house. Those rocks are there to protect the building, and they put the fence up for privacy, and it just looks really cool. Out here in these rural communities, everyone has wells, so they don't put salt down. Everything's far apart, so they don't put salt down. It would cost too much, and it would contaminate people's wells eventually with the buildup of salt. So they put down lots of sand, sometimes small gravel. Oh, another turkey. All over the road. And it's still remaining now once all the snow melted. Up here it's so cold, salt a lot of times is not even effective. So what happens is they put this sand down for traction, and then once everything melts, this is left behind. Eventually they'll sweep it off the road, or in some places it'll just wear off the road from people driving by, or raining off the road. But sometimes when you're going pretty fast on one of these back roads, it can be a lot of fun. Drive over to the edge a little bit where most people aren't. Behind me, I just made a gigantic cloud of dust. It's kind of entertaining to do sometimes in these rural roads. Coming down this road on the way back home, look at this. All those trees just uprooted at once. And that's because they're right on the edge of the drainage ditch. A lot of water made it soft. Never been in this area before. But look what I just found. This pond probably wasn't here too long ago. A couple decades ago, it was probably non-existent. It's very shallow, and without this big beaver dam here, it would all go right through that pipe. That pipe needs to be replaced, severely rotted out. Look at all that rust. The whole bottom of the pipe is basically gone. But Fish and Game or someone put this bypass pipe in so the beavers could keep their home, and the beneficial pond gets to stay. Look at this whole structure here. Now, the beavers may have been relocated because there is no beaver structure existing anymore. Well, there is, but nothing's being clogged up. You see there's a whole fence going around in the water. Just a little bit of debris here in front of it. Nothing blocking it. Absolutely nothing. Just a little bit of debris right here floated over into the entrance. By getting rid of the bigger things, a lot of the smaller things can float through. By the way that sounds, it's possible there might be a crushed part. I just want to get down inside here and look at it. Oh, wow. There's a second pipe that's not flowing at all. But that one's a lot higher. That might be a secondary flow pipe. That might be why it's not working. There's a broken piece of the plastic pipe down inside there. And we can take a better look at this pipe that's decaying on the bottom. It's not as bad once you get in there. The end gets the brunt of the freeze and thaw cycles. A lot of water leaking through the beaver dam. That one is working very little. I want to find the entrance of that other one and see how bad it really is. Grass is starting to green up already from this little bit of warm weather. Here it is. Absolutely nothing in front of it. And look, almost all of it's underwater. That's because it's not put in flat, or as the beavers built their dam over it, the uneven weight has kind of messed it up. But if it needed to, that would still work at full capacity eventually when the water got up. It would be able to, it's on like a hump. The pipe has sagged, so barely any of it can get through. But I don't see a problem, and there is no evidence of active beavers at the moment. Although this chew mark was definitely done last season. So the beavers were here less than a year ago. So maybe they're still here. Maybe it's a secondary pond they don't visit very much. But this is a new location that we might want to check out in the future. It's possible. And a situation like this is perfect for beavers. If it's a secondary pond, it means they won't be blocking it up every single night, and it's manageable for the parks department. And who knows, further up there might be a gigantic dam. Perfect area for beavers to build a big pond up out of the way, right with that beautiful mountain over there. Over here looks like somebody's property boundary where all those flags are. And is that a sign? It looks like it used to be a sign. Maybe the remaining part of the birdhouse. Wow, this zoom lens is nice. I am using 10x optical with another 10x digital. If it did say something, I think I would have been able to read it, which is really cool. Someday when we have more daylight, we're gonna have to do it. Right next to this little pond, there is a trail and a couple parking spaces. And by the evidence, a good amount of people use it, so that'll be fun.